Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Andy Max, John Wristen Show. Here. Hey, come on, yeah. That's all right. It's still all right to cheer. John's going to be a little late tonight. Practice running a little long, as you might expect. But Joe Cervi and I will, hold down the fort till the coach gets here. We'll have our garlic bread. We'll have our famous meatballs and other fare, and we'll have other stuff after the show. But we invite you to come on down and join us here at Andy Max. John Wristen Show will be here till 7 o'clock, and the coach gets here, we're going to put him on the grill. Rake him over the coals, see what's happening.
Yeah, he hadn't had a really easy week as it was, and it was a tough night last Thursday night. Ran into Friday morning, and you and I rolled in about 3 a.m. and after covering that game, and it was a little tough. Look who's coming in the door, though, folks. I told you he'd show up. John Wristen's in now.
He's here. We thought it might be 15 minutes before he got, but he's here right now, and that is great. So Joe and I won't have to sit here and just talk to each other for a while, because we talked to each other. We got tired of talking to each other at Mines for an hour and 36 minutes in the old lightning delay, which the storm never got there.
The delay was an inconvenience to us, as much as it was to the team, only it doesn't seem as much. It didn't seem as bad to us as it did them. But, John, welcome to your show.
Well, what's going on, guys? I was really thinking about not even
since this one out. There you go.
Since Thursday night, the Thunderwolves didn't show up, so I thought maybe we'll do it tonight. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't leave you guys hanging.
Hey, John, I've shot 81 before in the state amateur, and I showed up the next day, played it out, missed the cut, but, sometimes you just got to do it.
I wish I could shoot 81 versus Kevin Schreiber. I just wish I had a chance to just shoot that versus him.
Did you break 80 this summer?
No.
No, didn't get there, huh?
Close, though. A couple of times.
No, you haven't?
Had a chance.
On the cusp.
Had a couple 37, 38s, but I couldn't,
couldn't carry it over.
Story of my life.
One time I shot 39 on the front with a double bogey, or the eagle rather, on 9, just to get the 39, and then shot 5 under on the back.
Well, good for you.
Just showing you it's possible to come back, even when things look bleak. Sometimes when things look the bleakest, John, you can come back.
There was a moral to that story.
I hear you.
Following along
fired up to get back.
All right, let's get back.
Get going here.
You're waiting to get to the back nine. Well, actually, with this season, it's probably hole number 2. That was just a bad first hole.
Yep.
You got to wash it out of your system. It's like match play. You're only down 1.
Yeah, that was it was a tremendous job by Colorado School of Mines. I thought they had a great game plan, and they did a nice job of. Holy smokes!
Look at that! Cheese covered
right here. That looks so
cheese
good.
Cheese covered tater tots. I already took a picture and posted to the fan page of the meatballs and the garlic bread. But go ahead and continue, John.
I thought all the credit goes to Colorado School of Mines. It shows. We're 0-2
on lightning delays.
On the road. On the road, being able to handle that. I thought that both teams had that experience, and I thought we were ready to play. And it's always your first game worries as a coach. Did you do enough to get them ready to go? And obviously. Somehow I dropped the ball of not getting our guys ready to play. And that's uncharacteristic of us to have. Really, that second quarter was the longest quarter in the American football history. And when you turn the ball over, I believe it was 3 times in that quarter, and let short fields happen to a hot quarterback, I don't care who you are, it's going to be a long day. And that's kind of what happens.
Well, we've seen that before. We've just seen you do that to teams before. It's never been done to you. This is the 9th season. That was the worst loss in the 9. But we've never seen a team get that hot for that quick. That was just that sustained boom, scored, 3 and out, boom, scored, 3 and out, short turnover, boom, and it was almost like that ball just would not stop rolling downhill for Mines.
Yeah, we I think part of that was we score on the 3rd play of the ball game. See Bernard go 74 yards or whatever it was, and then we stop him, go 3 and out. And I think we got we kind of the mentality, oh, here we go again. The Mines is going to tap out or something. Well, we're the guys who got tapped out, and we didn't respond to their veteran team and their cause is what I talk about all the time. And I think they were on a mission from middle of their spring workouts was all dedicated to playing us. It changed their whole defense, and talking to their coach that they wanted to have their offense. Just disappointed we didn't put on a better performance for those people.
Well, when you look back on the ball game, still you jump out, as you mentioned, 8-0. Weird extra point play. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But you get up 8-0, and you get them stopped again, and you have the ball out there around midfield. When you get back, when you think about how games could have changed, a couple little plays here. You had a 3rd and 1 on that drive, 2nd and 1 actually. And if you just get that going with the win, you almost feel like, well, we're going to be rolling downhill. We might be the one putting the knockout punch on them early. But they get the stop. They came up with the stop. Got to give them credit there. But then again, you get the ball back, and it seemed like you're driving, and then the personal foul penalty followed by the fumble. And I think that just started. That was that little snowball at the top of the hill that ended up being an avalanche.
Well, we were able to. I thought with the win that we were going to have to score 2 touchdowns. And we got one. And then we're driving, and we didn't convert when it was 2nd and 2, and then 3rd down we didn't convert on that. And, I think we all wish we would have had a play call back or two. We thought we were going to get something, and we didn't. And, we just didn't execute. And then when they started driving and down and they missed the field goal in the win, I thought, okay, we're going to be all right. And then it just went back and forth, and then all of a sudden we're moving the ball into the wind. AJ throws a nice completion to Cole, and then next play we make a nice run, and our receiver's busting his. Jalen Mitchell's going all the way. He makes a great block, and instead of coming back, he stands over the guy, and we get 15. And then that started that snowball of getting bigger and bigger, and we just couldn't stop it. And that's the game. Those are the ebbs and flows of the game we talk about. And those are the things that we got to overcome. We got to overcome those mistakes. But those are all self-inflicted wounds. Those are things that really is tough.
Well, and the sad part about that is you have these self-inflicted wounds on top of a quarterback that has the hot hand.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know you've watched tape. I know you didn't want to watch tape. Nobody does. But he found the open receiver every play. And it looked like every receiver was open every play. Like he just picked one. I mean, I don't know if it was that easy, but it was pretty easy.
Well, that's not characteristic of our defense.
No.
But I think they exposed us in some of our areas that we thought we had good matchups, and those guys just played fast. You heard me talk about playing fast, and there was one team that played fast. We played fast early on, but when it started, our mojo didn't start working and our chemistry didn't start working, you could see another team just put on more steam, and that's really a credit to College School of Mines. Like I said, that's a veteran group. That's the guys that said, we're not going to lose our senior year to CSU Pueblo.
And we talked about it on the air. You're a body language guy. And your body language, your team, after that second quarter was just like, holy cow, did that just really happen? And that's hard to get back on the road under those circumstances, and you can just kind of see it. And I know that you worked hard to try and get that back, but kids got to believe.
Yeah, and I really believe it's part of the overall respect of this game. And I call it a chance to say, anytime you have a chance to go out and compete, you got to respect that opportunity. And what happened is sometimes you don't. And this is what happens when you don't. And we've been pretty lucky over our 9 years or so that we've been able to respect the game and do all the little things to make things happen the right way. Well, this time we didn't, and it just shows.
Well, if you're going to do that, as they always say, do it early. You got a chance to make the comeback, but nothing's easy. You got a very tough opponent this weekend, but I think that's probably the way you want it. You don't want a cupcake after a performance like that. You want to get the focus of your ball club and say, hey, here's what we have to do. Probably every play you could break down and say, here's what we didn't do right. Now let's fix it, and let's do it right this week.
All the errors that we had were really self-inflicted wounds. So when it's self-inflicted wounds, we all can fix it. And a lot of that credit goes to Mines, like I said. But the reality of this is we got to respect the game. We got to respect the team. We got to respect the way you play the game. And playing the game is showing up and going as hard as you can for each other. And that's part of our challenge right now.
We're going to take a timeout right here. A little early for the timeout, but we got a lot to cover. We'll get one out of the way, but we want to invite everybody to come on down. It's not like we're at the funeral parlor here. We've got John Wristen in a good mood, I think.
Beer.
Yeah, we got beer. We got
meatballs,
garlic bread. We've got these
loaded
tater tots with bacon and cheese. I mean, this is unbelievable here at Andy Mac's. What they've thrown in front of us. A few
little
fries.
Funnel cake.
Oh, it's funnel cake
with
powdered
sweet
sugar.
Dessert. I didn't realize that till I just tried one. I'm dipping that in icing.
Well, I thought it was cheese sticks with Parmesan, but that's sweet.
No. This is the savory. It's Andy Mac's. They got a buffet. It's $5 during the show. Come on down. It's tonight's barbecue. So if you're barbecue, they got the buffet and drink specials.
All right, we're enjoying it. We hope you come on and down here and enjoy it. We've got our mic hot tonight. Do we have some?
I haven't seen KO. I don't.
Well, he's busy, celebrating that golf title. They won their own invitational this weekend. Looked good, playing great. So
and then the volleyball.
They got a big volleyball match tonight. But if you were here in the house and you want to talk to John Wristen face to face, if you want to get right up in John's grill
and say what the hell happened,
we got a microphone right here, and you can do that here. We got the hot mic.
Can we make sure it's turned on?
Yeah, it'll be on when it needs to be on. So come on down here to Andy Mac's. Join us right here, and John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Radio.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
Nick Donovan on the board tonight. You'd think that was Nate Baptist there with that intro, but good stuff there. We are at Andy Mac's, John Wristen Show. Welcome back, everybody. And it is we decided not to talk football tonight. It's going to be the John Wristen Culinary Delights Show. As we described the meal in front of us, we had the description of the tater tots wrong. It's a little tater tots with bacon and a cheese and a ranch sauce on top of it. And we got the meatballs. We talked about the garlic bread, and we've also got these funnel cake sticks. That looks unbelievable.
Yep, it's pretty good. I had one. I'm trying to keep it away for Cervi, so we'd have some more. But
those are the end of the meal. Oh, the life's too short. You eat dessert first.
You notice the show's back on, and Joe just keeps eating. We're professional, kind of hold back, and Joe just keeps diving.
We're professional.
Shovel it on in. But come on down here and join us. If you got a question for the coach, you can text it to me. 719-671-7574. 671-7574. We got a couple lined up, but we go to those in our next segment. We continue to talk about the ball game. John, we talked about the snowball that just kept the avalanche that kept coming. I mean, we talked a little bit about Dvorak, but he was slinging it pretty good into the wind. But then when he got downwind, and the passes he were throwing, his receivers are tall, rangy guys, and it seemed like that part of their game plan. Throw it up tall, let the big guys go and get it. But still, you have to execute going to get it. I mean, it's like they were Fred Biletnikoff out there with Stickum. I mean, they were just sticking on those long patterns, 25 yards down the field. He was throwing them up high, and they were going to get them.
Well, they were really doing a great job of getting open, running precise routes. They had a great game plan versus our coverages. And we couldn't really get any pressure on him. And when we did get pressure on him, he avoided the tackle, and we missed some tackles back there. And so he had a field day. And that was not the way our defense operates. It's one of those things that I think that at first, we have some new guys playing there. And I think the speed of the game caught up to them a little bit. And then when we started pressing, we didn't do our job and getting the right gaps. I mean, I was seeing guys that can rush the passer were just running right down the middle of the guy, and we couldn't get any off them. And so, it wasn't characteristic of us. But it was that game. And so that's who we are right now. And we've got to change that. And I really think it boils down to, like I said earlier, is the respect of the game, respect of your job about what you need to do.
What I noticed, and I think we talked about it on the air. Of course, we talked about everything on the air because we've never had so much airtime.
I did the broadcast today, Joe. It's 4 hours.
Oh, my
we were
word.
talking.
We don't get
That's
paid
not
by
including the commercials.
And, Coach, we call it the Spitzelberger defense because it's named after Nebraska Kearney quarterback Jake Spitzelberger, who could get around and make things happen outside the pocket. So you try and rush in your lanes to keep him contained so that he has to find ways to go. But it seemed like in an effort to keep him in his lanes, the intensity might not have been there. And I don't know that from where we were sitting. It just maybe too much emphasis was put on just trying to keep him inside instead of trying to go.
It's either that or their tackles and guards
were that good.
Well, they're veteran guys.
Right.
And so, in my opinion, I said it earlier, that they changed their whole defense for their offense to practice against what we do against them. And it really helped their offensive game with the speed of what it was. And so, I thought the other aspect of the game was that they had no drops.
None.
Yeah.
And the quarterback was outstanding. And when he throws 6 touchdown passes, no drops, that was a focused team. And I don't care who you put out there, that's going to be a long night for anybody. And we just have to be on the short end of that. But I really think that we got to come up with a way with developing a little more pressure without bringing zero coverage, blitz, and being able to let those happen. So, but we also had some self-inflicted wounds on defense. We had a late hit out of bounds. We had a holding call that gave them a first down. We just didn't play very disciplined football. And so that's what I'm talking about. Respect to the game, respect to your job, respect the team. And so hopefully that point got across this week. As you can tell, I'm big on this respect about your job and the way Thunderwolves go about it.
Well, the way the game went as well, sometimes you can see a game and it gets away from you and say, man, the defense just played terrible that game. We couldn't stop anybody. But this game, it was kind of hand-in-hand. When the offense 3 and out, then you put your defense right back out there. Then the defense can't stop any of the offense. It is just kind of back and forth, seeing who could outdo the other bad, I guess you could say, because you're turning the ball over, put your defense in a bad spot, but the defense couldn't come up with a play to right the ship, I guess you'd say.
There was no change in the momentum of a game on our side. The only change in the momentum was early in the first quarter. We score, we stop them, we're ready to go, 3 and out, and we're driving down, and then we don't convert. And then it stops. We hit a wall, and we weren't mature enough to fight through it. And we're a young team, but that's an excuse. That gives you an out.
And the young team going against a team that was playing at Super Bowl. This was Mines' game of all games. Jim and I said it before the game, and we've never seen a Mines crowd so geeked up. Usually they're the most laid-back crowd there is. Them in Fort Lewis. Yeah. They does football secondary, but they were excited. The new stadium, and excited to have a night game, and they dressed 180 players. I've never seen that many guys warm up at I didn't know they had that. The student body was suited up. It's kind of, how many did you dress? 60?
Yeah.
60 guys in white at one end, 190 at the other.
Plus, those were the ultimate distraction. You had about 20 frat guys in Speedos down in the end zone. I don't know if you saw that. That was very disturbing. During the rain delay, even out there.
I did not see that. So
consider yourself lucky.
Well, we bring up the rain delay. Let's talk about that. You get all set, all fired up, ready to get a game started. Get the coin flip. You get the ultimate. We love it when you get the win the coin toss, defer. It seems like everything works great. You score going in, you score coming out. That's the mindset you have. And then it comes to a big halt. Just talk about what is said in the locker room there. Do you just go and try to keep everybody's mind right, or you have no idea how long it's going to go? I guess that's the problem. You see a storm coming. Sometimes you say, well, this ought to last 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We can deal with that. But here was kind of an indefinite hold.
Well, we stayed up in Boulder, and I checked the weather bug on the app, and I saw the storm coming. I said, I bet we get a rain delay or a lightning delay. And so, we go through warm-ups. I think it's going to go, and then I check it, and the officials come over and says, "Hey, it's getting close. What are we going to do?" And so the reality of it, I wish they would have not even, kind of stopped it before we even came out and did the coin flip. And so, then you could get going. Now it's like you all geeked up, ready to go, and then you got to redo it again. Well, I'd rather do it all at once. And so when you're on the visitor side, those locker rooms aren't very big, and they're hot.
Yeah, no air conditioning. We heard that.
And so we had the doors open, and at first we had all the music playing, and I finally shut the music off. I said, get off your feet. It's going to be a while. I'm walking around, and there's parents, there's aunts, uncles, buying guys hot dogs, and and just it was comical.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was back in Little League right there, where everybody's buying popcorn. But what are you going to do?
Well, and people don't understand college football at this level. You eat a pregame meal at a certain time so that fuel is kicking in at a certain time and when you're on the road, you're kind of at the mercy. I mean, if your home team, they probably have some nutrition and some things ready to go. And I know you guys do some stuff at halftime, but now you got to eat at. I mean, your whole body chemistry is gone compared to what you normally have.
Well, it was just you couldn't get comfortable. Guys are ready to go play, and you say, "Oh, get off your feet," sit down. I mean, I was pacing around. I didn't know what to do, and it just we got to come up with a better way to do it. But when you're away, it's very tough, and in those situations, those locker rooms, and so. I don't want any more day games.
Yeah,
way to go,
day
Joe.
games.
Okay.
Well, and that's why I said Colorado weather turns about 5 o'clock in the afternoons. They roll off the foothills, but between 1 and 5, we were out there.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
We got there. We rolled in about 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and it was beautiful till kickoff. We could have played 2 games during that time. It was so nice.
But it just happened to be Thursday. You can't play at 1 o'clock.
Well, you can.
Well,
you just choose not to.
The matinee show on ESPN3.
2 performances. I just think that you got to take that into consideration sometimes in Colorado weather because even the Durango game, but that was a noon kickoff or 1 o'clock, and that came over the hills about 3. And
so that shot that theory.
Well, just that day.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That's the strangest game ever because there was no storm anywhere near that game. It was so far away that we thought they were looking at the wrong weather bug in Durango because it was blue skies and sunny where we were sitting. They said, nope.
Yeah, but then it did hit finally, but it was like, well, we could have got a little bit more in, but yeah, this one just never developed. Just kind of hung there on the mountain, and what was comical is Joe and me trying to fill for 45 minutes. And we finally decided, you know what, we're going back to network programming. So
that's all right.
Listen to Megan McCain for a little while, which was better.
It was fun, but now you finally get the go ahead. And you don't have much time to get loose.
Right.
10 minutes about it.
And mine had all their pads on, ready to go, and they come to us and say, game's going to be in 10. I said, wait a minute, got to give us a chance to get dressed here, because I took the pads off. Some of the guys got their tape on their hands, and so it was a rush still, but we still jumped on them 8-0. That wasn't I think you could use that as an excuse, and you have every right to understand. I wish they would give us a 20-minute window here, okay? Get on the field, you got 15 minutes, ready to go, and then maybe things could have been a little bit different. But the reality of it, both teams had it. One team responded, the other one didn't.
Well, let's kind of wrap this game up in a bow.
And then forget it.
Second half came out. You talk about the locker room. Bright went in there. I mean, everybody had to be shell-shocked. I think it all started even late in the first half. Seemed like there was that last drive before half. Just couldn't get the sense of urgency going, maybe to get a score in there, get the ball first, come out and score second half. You're probably always thinking, being an optimist there, if you get 2 scores, you're back within 2 scores.
Right.
But just couldn't get that drive finished off, had a penalty, and just things didn't work out.
I was hoping to chip away. I was hoping that we could get it to, get 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, and we got the ball. And then I believe we turned it over on our first series of the third quarter, and you just kind of felt like a balloon, and all the air went out of it, and you were trying to do everything you can. Then defense went out there, and they had no juice, and it just became one thing after another. It was a comedian act, out there, errors after errors being done. But the good thing about it, we got to forget that game, but we can't forget the lessons in that game. And I think those are the key things, is what I've been trying to preach, the lessons of that game and what you have to do. And I think this week of practice, our kids are responding.
All right, we're going to come back after another timeout here. Join us down here at Andy Max. We've got a great meal in front of us. $5 buffet if you come down here and join us for the John Wristen Show. $5 you have the barbecue sandwiches buffet. You can sample even what we have here if you order it, I guess. Maybe they'll whip up some meatballs for you and some garlic bread.
Come bring a fork.
What are these called again, Joe? The tater tots?
I guess they're loaded tater tots.
Loaded tater tots with cheese, bacon, and ranch drizzled over it, and then the funnel cake sticks.
I'm guessing these are a heart attack special.
There you go. Yes, cholesterol. That's what we like. But come on here and join us. Come back after this next segment. We're going to take questions. If you're in the house, want to give John a question, come over to the mic. We'll put you on. Otherwise, we're taking messages here, text messages, 719-671-7574. We got a couple lined up for John when we come back after this timeout. It is the John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo and Andy Max.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
Little Bachman Turner overdrive for you there, Joe and John. Like that? Taking care of business. We're taking care of business. Now, John Wristen, this is the John Wristen Show, by the way. We are at Andy Max. Welcome back. John has come up with a good creation here. You take part of the tater tots, loaded tater tots with the cheese and bacon and ranch sauce, and you dip it into the sauce of the meatballs. That looked stupendously good.
Well, I'm one to not turn down any food.
You're
any
a dipper,
food combination.
and you're a dipper. You know, you like that dip. You like to.
I'm a big dip.
The Big Dipper.
The Big Dip. They made a new nickname. John Wristen, the Big Dipper.
Who was the Big Dipper in old NBA days? I'm trying to remember who the Big Dipper was. Somebody help me.
I don't remember.
The Big Dipper. Nobody in the house knows who the Big Dipper was? Will Chamberlain was the Big
right.
Hey, he's back. He was in a hot tub last week in Santa Fe over here.
Yeah.
That he's back in person.
That was too much information. Too much information.
I was in a hot tub, too, Thursday night.
You were. Yeah. It was more like an oven.
Pressure cooker.
Pressure
cooker. Well, we're done with Thursday night.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, we're not quite done because some of the questions coming in deal with Thursday night, but looking forward. They're kind of a transitional questions now from some of our listeners.
I can't wait.
Let's get to these questions.
Well, the first one, I got three of them from three different people. They want to know, who's the quarterback this week, John? Let's just get right to it.
Well, we're going with AJ. AJ's
Okay.
our starter, and we're going to stick with AJ. And Rex did some nice things there in the fourth quarter and threw the ball. But we're going to stick with AJ and give Rex a chance in the second quarter.
Okay, that takes care of that. And Rex came in the second quarter and immediately had the ball snapped over his head, had a pass dropped. It was kind of tough on him there in that second quarter. But to be fair, he came in the third quarter. He threw a pick.
Right.
AJ had the pick six go the other way. Had the ball snapped over his. Joe and I were debating whether it was a high snap or just went through his hands. What was what the film said?
It was a hard snap right at his hands, and went
So it was kind of that'd be an E6 if he was a shortstop. Okay.
It was the people I've talked to for the last 3 or 4 days. Everybody wants quarterbacks get way too much credit, shoulder way too much blame. It's that position, but there were so many variables that. The defense was on the field too long. The offensive line, I mean, so many things go into it. When they looked good, they looked really good. When they didn't, they didn't. But it wasn't just the play of one guy that dictated that 57-21 game.
Yeah, but then one guy we have to evaluate just like we are with the starting center, starting guard, starting running back, starting linebacker, starting defensive lineman. I mean, those guys have to be accountable for the way they play. But I don't think there was 22 guys on that team at different times played well enough to win a football game.
Exactly. But I got the depth chart when they sent it out this week. Not a lot of changes. It was sort of okay, let's go prove it? Prove it was a fluke? Prove it was earn your spot? Or is it a vote of confidence to say, let's just go do it again. Let's try this again?
Well, I think right now, early on in the season, you're trying to evaluate that.
Yeah.
And I think you're still trying to gather a lot of that information, and you're on that dreaded word potential that this guy can do this guy can do that. Well, let's see when the lights come on, and obviously for game one, Coach Wristen didn't get him ready to go, and so that falls on us as coaches that we got to make sure that these kids are ready to go, and it was hard to simulate that. And I think that we got to go play fast, and we hopefully learn that lesson on Thursday night.
Well, another question coming in from our old buddy Ken Franek. How do we get the tight ends involved in this game? Zach Boyd, had a great career already at this young stage of his career, but no pass to the tight end. But I think nobody really got involved in this ball game the way you look at it. It just wasn't a chance to really get anything going, was it?
Well, I think you got to you got to make a couple first downs to get in a groove of being able to do that. So we had a couple times that were a target at him, and just didn't quite get him the ball. But definitely, we're playing with 3 to 4 tight ends a lot of times, and we want to get them involved in the passing game. But their job is to block like a tackle, catch the ball like a wide receiver, run like a running back. And so
that's all.
That's all those tight ends are expected out of them. And that's I think we got 4 really good ones, and we got to make sure we can utilize them, and we got some stuff in to make that happen.
Well, let's talk about a guy that looks like a tight end, runs like a tight end maybe, but catches balls from the wide receiver spot. I thought that's one guy that had a pretty good game in Kalen Anderson.
Boy, he
kind of opened some eyes there, didn't he, a little bit?
He's going to be all right. And we got to keep finding ways to get our playmakers the ball, and he's definitely a playmaker for us. And I think he's really grown up from last year and his maturity. And I think you guys are going to be calling his number quite a bit this year.
And if people don't know, Kalen Anderson's older brother is C.J. Anderson, right, of the Denver Broncos.
Right. And so I think C.J. opens up here tomorrow night, I guess.
Right.
Thursday night. I hope his Thursday night's better than his brother's Thursday night.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And we'll see how that goes. But that was one guy that had a pretty good game. Anybody else that you thought, even in you got a bunch of guys, the team didn't function well, but were there any other guys you saw out there on the field that thought, they played a pretty good ball game even in defeat?
I was really proud of our kicking game. I thought Tanner Kuda, even in the win, we did some different things, and he didn't let him have a chance to return. And we had a punt 4 different times in the win.
Yes, we did.
And be able to handle that done. And then Nathan Taylor, our kicker, did a great job. And we were fortunate to kick with the wind at our back, and he kicked it out. But I was really impressed with that.
Let's talk a little bit real quick before we take another question. A little wrinkle in the extra point after touchdown.
Yeah.
That's new. That has never happened here at CSU Pueblo, and you're 1 for 2.
Well, we're 1 for 2, and that puts us at even. And
was that just something for this game, or is that going to be the formations for extra points?
We're going to experiment with that. We're going to come up with some different things off that formation.
Without giving too much away, what is the process when you get into that formation? What are you looking for? Are you looking to be outnumbering people, or without giving away the exact scheme? You're looking for a certain matchup? What determines whether you're going to go into kick formation?
You're trying to gain an advantage to get 1 more point. And so we thought that I wanted to experiment with trying to do, with lack of a better term, we're calling the swing and gate things. And so there's a lot of flexibility. Everybody has their own little twist on it. But we're just looking to find numbers. If numbers aren't right there, then we bring them in, and we're going to kick the field goal, or extra point. And so,
was this a Wristen thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to try to do that. I was talking to a few guys through the summer, and we happen to have a guy that's kind of been down and hanging around, lost his job at Montana State, named Bo Beck, that's been around, and they did a few of those. So I was watching the tape and got some ideas, and we're going to keep experimenting with it.
So it wasn't an indictment on the freshman kicker. It was just something that John Wristen, no matter who was kicking, you were going to try this.
I wanted to try to expand our packages a little bit, and I didn't want to be handcuffed going for 2 all the time with an offensive set. And so I wanted to, I've always been, I've never done that before. I've studied some of those other things, but we're going to go to it. We're going to be full-fledged into it.
Hard to miss Bo Beck.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Bo Beck on the sidelines, look down there and say, okay, which guy down there doesn't belong? It's Bo Beck. What is he, about 6'8"?
He's like an eclipse.
He's a large man.
He's big.
He's a total eclipse.
And quiet, though.
What a great guy.
Yeah, and quiet.
Really a great teacher.
And a good helper on the defensive line. I mean, that they're new techniques, and he's going to earn his keep right now because without Josh Croy.
And then the final, got somebody asking about defense changes. I guess everybody knee-jerk, aren't they, John? When you think of something that happens in a game that happens bad, well, what changes are we going to make? Well, the same defensive coordinator helped you win a national title. You've got a little bit different personnel out there. I guess it comes down to execution and getting in the right spots. I guess that's probably the main thing is getting, like you said, playing fast. If you're out there thinking too much, you don't play defense fast. You got to get where you're free-flowing pretty much.
We just got to get to our fundamental process of doing our job. And we lost that. We kept pressing and trying to do our own thing. And then we got frustrated and just never played packed defense. We never played the way that we've been coached and tried to get those things accomplished like we wanted to. We were just played slow. We're in quicksand. And a lot of that had to do with Colorado minds. And so our job is to make sure our kids play fast, understand what their cause is, and play together and making sure everybody knows where their help is and running the ball.
All right, we thank everybody for the questions this week. We're going to take another timeout. We'll come back here. We'll talk about West Texas A&M, another big matchup this weekend. It's a red out on Saturday night, home opener at the Thunderbolts, 6 o'clock on Saturday evening. We'll talk more about that when we come back after this timeout. John Wristen Show from Andy Max on Fox Sports Pueblo. And welcome back to the John Wristen Show here at Andy Max, our final segment of the evening with the head coach John Wristen, the Chieftains Joe Cervi, and yours truly Jim Brooks as we wrap things up here. And
that was a little Huey Lewis. I saw him the other night at the fair.
I heard all about it.
Great concert.
Our old buddy Troy Tack
is his buddy.
Yeah, and drinking buddy up there in Montana. I said, hey Troy, get us some tickets to talk to Huey. And Huey, I guess when he saw him at the bar, I don't have anything to do with that, Troy. I just show up, but they prop me up. It's like the Weekend at Bernie's, I guess. They prop Huey up. And he sings, and I guess he did a great job.
66, and he had energy for days. If I can move like that when I'm 66, if I can move like that when I'm 56, I'll be happy.
So we didn't get any backstage passes, didn't get any free tickets, didn't get any. So I stayed in Denver, but read all about it, and people were having fun.
It was fun. It was
good. All right, let's have some fun this weekend, shall we, against West Texas A&M? This has become one of the great, not only a regional rivalry, but I think you can look at it nationally. This is a big-time rivalry between your two clubs because to have a good rivalry, you need both teams winning.
Right.
And you've each took turns beating the other, and most of the times it seems like the other team's winning when the other shouldn't. You've been kind of upsets when you go back and forth and look at it. When you first went down there and knocked them off, they had no thoughts whatsoever you were going to beat them.
They had a star out of Kyle Major.
And then you just dusted them up here in a regular season game, but then they came in the playoffs, turned the tables on you. So it's gone back and forth in this rivalry. And last year, great ball game.
Yeah, it was what a great opportunity for us to rebound and playing against a quality opponent. It's a red-out game. We're dedicating a new weight room at halftime. I think it's going to be a special crowd. But this is a special team, West Texas, and I have a lot of respect for Mike Nesbitt and his staff and what they're doing. And, it's a regional game that really affects down the road with your seeding and your playoff rankings. And, it's kind of strange talking like that after the way we played on Thursday, but this is a big game for all those ramifications, all that. But more importantly, this is a big game for us to rebound, for us to find out what our cause is, and our be able to play fast. And so it's got to be a 60-minute, put your head down, go to work, make sure you handle your business and respect what you're supposed to do and respect what your job is supposed to do.
Well, I guess what makes it double big. Is that right?
Double big?
Double big. Double mint, double big. is they lost as well. They lost to Azusa Pacific, who's becoming a pretty good national program as well. I mean, that was a tough game for them on the road. They dropped that one. You've dropped one. I guess it's too soon to say it's an elimination game, but you've always talked about Division II football. You can really only afford one loss and know you're going to get in. 2 losses makes it extremely tough to work your way back into a playoff thought. So, like you say, in all reality, it comes down to a big game. This is a must-win.
Well, they're all big anymore, really, to tell you the truth. And so we got to just make sure that we come out and do our job, not try to do someone else's job, and understand what that is, and have tremendous focus and energy to be able to get that done. And we had that this week in practice, and you can tell the difference in our practices and leading up to it. And I should have been aware of it going into the Mines game, but definitely I think we've had much better practices going into it.
You know, I saw the intensity today in terms of just not like in the past was AJ. I mean, I saw usually he comes over, hey, what's up, Miss Cervi? What's up?
All business.
What's up? All right, man. All right, go to work. I like that.
You know, I think that our kids were embarrassed.
Sure.
And you should feel that way. And you know, if you're a competitor, you're going to get knocked to the ground. And it's how you respond to those things. It's how we approach it. You know, we don't want to. We want to rise up. We want to make sure that we're not on the canvas for a count. We got knocked down. We're going to come back up. And what a great opportunity against a really good West Texas. They got outstanding personnel. They're big receivers. Their quarterback is the lefty that came in and played against us last year.
Ethan Brinkley.
Yeah, he's done a nice job with that. But you know, this PJ number 6, he is outstanding. He is really a speedster, and he can return some punts, kickoffs. He's fun to watch. I don't want to watch him too much on Saturday night now.
Well, they kind of retooled at the wide receiver spot. They got 3 junior college transfers starting. They got a 4-receiver package plus the PJ, as you mentioned. Payne, or a good running back. Brinkley, as you mentioned, he came in just kind of out of nowhere. Wasn't supposed to play last year, and their starting quarterback got hurt, and he came in and, you know, he had a couple mistakes here and there, but he kind of dissected you at times. Had a really great game.
Yeah, he was just really steady at it, and he was a little better athlete throwing on the run.
We couldn't believe he was a backup.
Yeah, and so really this tailback Payne is he was a junior college All-American out of Iowa Western, I believe, and our good friend Jeremy Campos, AD there, and this guy's an outstanding player, be able to do it. But their center is an outstanding player, number 55.
Austin Carson.
He's been there, you know, been a starter there for 4 years, and he's as good a player there is in the country at center.
And then we talk about their offense, but defensively they can fly around to the football as well. They make it tougher. And usually they're big and strong up front. They're hard to push around in the running game.
I tell you, if guys really want to watch a really outstanding guy that plays with great motors, 93 LePere, Woolrich, I believe is his last name, and he plays with great pad level, he works his hands, and then the other guy, his sidekick, I believe is number 97, Solomon Purdue. Yeah, he's active, and you know, he's 6'2", 98, I think, and like Tony Campton, and they're going to play with 2 ends. They're big and tall, and then they're going to play with you know, they'll play a 2 linebacker structure, and then they're going to play with 2 different safeties and try to match up with our personnel and try to get their fits and put in a whole new defense with a whole new defense coordinator than the one that we played against. And so you can see that they were kind of going through their growing pains a little bit versus Azusa Pacific. But I tell you, the guy that you want to watch is number 8. He's an outstanding, he's their safety. Merriweather, I believe, is his number.
That's right. Devontae Merriweather.
Number 8. And he looks like Tarzan. I mean, he's got arms everywhere and long, and he runs. I think he's, he was voted the Lone Star Defensive Player of the Year, if I remember my notes.
Well, now you faced the other guy that was from Midwestern last year.
Right.
All right, John, you got Red Out on Saturday. It's the home opener. Final message to the fans.
Well, I appreciate everybody's support. I just want you to know our kids, we have great kids, and we got hit in the mouth, and now it's time to respond, and I hope everybody feels that same way, and we need everybody's help to rally the troops. I mean, you don't want to be in panic mode and after losing one game, but I think the way we need to have everybody come out, celebrate the opening of our new weight room, wear your red, be loud and proud, come early and stay late.
All right, we're looking forward to it. We'll be on the air at 5:30 here on Fox Sports Pueblo, 6 o'clock kickoff. For John Wristen, for Joe Cervi, for everybody here at Andy Max, for all of our fans, for Nick Donovan, our producer and engineer tonight, Jim Brooks bidding you good night.
Go Pack.